With just days until the mandate to form a coalition expires, both sides are racing to form a majority coalition, making unprecedented offers and sacrifices. There are a lot of political developments happening very quickly. So, will Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu be able to form a right-wing coalition and stay in power? Or will he be replaced by Yair Lapid and Naftali Bennett after an unprecedented 12 years as Israel's Prime Minister? Joining me to discuss is former member of Knesset for the Yesh Atid party, Rabbi Dov Lipman, and Emil Whiteman, head of the Libertarian Caucus in the Likud. Welcome. So let's start off with the obvious question. People are probably wondering about this the most. Will Netanyahu be unseated? What's it looking like at this point? Rabbi Lipman, let's start with you.
There's no doubt that at this moment, as we're speaking, it looks like that's about to happen. Naftali Bennett has made the decision. He's met with his faction to join with this alternative government, this unity government, which actually spans from right wing to left wing. Netanyahu has spent the day making all kinds of last minute efforts to try to woo the Gidon Sa'ar, the New Hope Party, over. But at this point, Sa'ar has stood his ground, kept to his promise. The goal is to unseat Netanyahu. And as we stand right now, that appears to be happening.
And Amir, Sa'ar has said that he won't sit with Netanyahu. Is he really serious about this? Is he really willing to give up his chance at being prime minister?
Well, it appears, I don't know, but it seems so. Unfortunately, it seems that personal hatred and desire of vengeance is what is leading him in his decisions. I think that he has made a decision that it really doesn't matter what the government does. The only thing that matters is to get rid of Netanyahu as prime minister, and that is the one and only relevant, political goal that he's pursuing. So therefore, he sees no problem, by the way, reneging on all his other promises, including sitting with Lapid, including sitting with the extreme left wing, the Labour Party and the Meretz Party, including having a minority government which is being supported by the Ram party, the Arab party, which is really the Muslim Brotherhood party. So this is not a problem, right? It's obvious that a government like that, in the best of cases, is not going to be able to pursue any sort of constructive policies. The only thing that is of interest to him is to get rid of Netanyahu. So unfortunately, that's where this country has come to, this policy, the Knesset, the only thing that they are interested in is whether to keep Netanyahu, whether to keep rid of Netanyahu. It's frankly very, very sad that Israeli politics have.
Rabbi Lipman, how did we get to this point where you have all these politicians on the right, Naftali Bennett, Gidon Sa'ar, who are simply unwilling to sit with Netanyahu to the point where they're willing to go with a more left-wing government?
Well, that's why I have to disagree with my colleague Amir and say this is not personal hatred. These are people who sat in the room and worked closest to him, Gidon Sa'ar and Zev Elkin and Yoaz Hendel. This is not hatred. These are people who have seen a prime minister who they respected and supported and worked with, who they now feel is damaging the country and making decisions that is not the best thing for the country. So they're actually sacrificing significantly politically in order to make this happen. And to hear people on Likud saying, oh my goodness, he's sitting with Ram, this militant radical Islamic party, when Netanyahu himself was willing to do so for the sake of being prime minister.
We said no. We said no.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's time for Likud to wake up and to realize there's an offer on the table right now for Likud to lead the country. Just have someone else other than Netanyahu be prime minister, and that will happen. So to suggest that these people who worked with him is out of vengeance or personal hatred, I'm sorry, that's just political spin and really not intellectually honest.
Well, I would say two things. First of all, I personally have no problem with getting rid of Netanyahu. I personally think he should be stepping aside, just to be clear and on record. I think indeed he's got too much opposition. I think at some point, politicians need to know how to step down. Unfortunately, Netanyahu missed the majority by a little bit, but he should be stepping down. This I agree with the former Knesset member Lipman. Having said that, the main thing that stands between the right-wing government and the reality is simply that Bennett and Gidon Sa'ar are frustrated. The reality is that they are not in the league of Netanyahu. They're very, very, very far away from them. They are third-rate politicians with very little public support, 6-7 mandates. Less than 5% support for Gidon Sa'ar, less than 6% support for Bennett. They've been trying times and times again, and they have been repudiated massively by the public. And Gideon Sa'ar was trounced in the primaries in the Likud by Netanyahu. He was utterly rejected by the public just 2 months ago. But the reality is that these people are fed up with playing second fiddles, and they want Netanyahu out of the game. That's really what interests them.
All right, Amir, I want to.
What I'm saying is,
yeah, Amir, I want to interject. I just want to ask, since we're almost out of time, I just want to ask, what would a Bennett-Lapid government even look like? Because you have right wing on the one side and left wing on the other side with Arab party support. I mean, is this something that is realistic? Will a coalition like this even be able to last?
So first of all, just to make a point, Netanyahu offered these third-rate politicians, Bennett and Sa'ar, to be prime minister.
Very sad. He should go just on that.
First of all. Second of all, this government will be a government that won't do anything radical on security issues. They'll try to manage the country on a health level, on economic level, reunify the country. They will be tested. If there are security issues, there will be tests, and it could fall apart over that. But it can manage a country on a day-to-day level with everyone agreeing to put the extreme right wing and extreme left wing aside, and they have pretty even split of right, center, and left. So it absolutely can work, but it will be tested for sure, and we'll see how long it can last for.
And what will happen to the right wing bloc? What will happen to Netanyahu if he's replaced? Is this the end of his political career, or do you see him bouncing back?
First of all, nobody knows. That's the reality. Netanyahu is very, very strong. He remains very popular. And funnily enough, he actually may get some more support because some of the supporters of Bennett and Sa'ar are very disappointed with their stance. So it's quite likely, actually, there will be a bounce. Now, whether that means that he will be able to come back to power within the foreseeable future is a different story, because a government like this left-wing government, which is about to be created, is only being kept together by hatred, a personal hatred against Netanyahu. So long as Netanyahu is here, they have a reason to stay together. Whereas once actually the Likud chooses a new head, it will be much more difficult for them. And I don't think that Bennett will renounce so easily on being prime minister. So my take is that they actually will be very happy to have Netanyahu carry on as the head of the opposition, which gives them a reason to stay together and have this Shatnez government, this government made out of very, very different people, who in the best of cases are not going to do anything productive. That's in the best of cases. I'm personally very fearful of very bad things, because when politicians are in power but they don't have public support, they tend to do extreme stuff to change their political position. And that is actually very dangerous. So I would be very happy to share in the optimism of Rabbi Lipman, and Bezrat Hashem, please God, I hope he's right. But,
all right, well, Amir, unfortunately, that is all the time we have. So Rabbi Dov Lipman, Amir Whiteman, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
Thank you.